Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rebelwatch. I'm your host, Campbell Holmes. Alongside me, as always, our sports reporters, SAWYER, ROVEGNO, TAYE, COLEMAN, and Walker Farmer. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We have such a fun show planned for you guys. Of course, it's sweet here in Oxford. Both men and women's team are headed to the Sweet 16 round of the NCAA tournament, March Madness. It's feeling good in here in Oxford. Let's start talking about the men's team first. UNC Milwaukee first round. 71-64. We start off hot. We were 87% from three at one point, by the way. Dre Davis had 8 out of our first 14 points. Obviously, we were hot first half. Second half, UNC caught up. That was going to happen. We can't shoot 87% from three the whole game. I saw it coming. We got, ahead by only 2 points at one point, which I was freaking out. And Sean Padula, as always, comes in clutch with the three, about 57 seconds left to go. He led the team with 20 points. I thought the Rebs looked great in this game overall. How were y'all feeling about the game?
I felt great. I think that was the best defensive performance that we've seen from them all year. They were switching. They were quick. I think they were moving as a unit pretty well as well. They were moving around. Like, I know the commentators were also talking about how when we face other SEC teams, we have that we already have that under our belt. We already know how that happens in the games. And so I think they did a really good job of that. Like you said, UNC kind of did come back. We got a little sloppy, got a little tired, a little turned around at the key when they'd be switching and moving around. But I think that started defensively for us.
For sure.
Yeah, I thought the key to the game was just the hot of a start that we had. It was such a hot start, mainly, like you said, Campbell, making a ton of threes. Dre Davis played really well, made 3 threes in the first half. Jamin Brakefield also made 2. Juju Murray made 1. So I thought that was big in winning this game. It's just we came out with such a hot start, and that was important because UNC made a big push in the second half, mainly because of RJ Davis, their best player.
Right.
We talked about that on last week's show. We would need to shut him down to win this game. And for the most part, I thought we did. He only made 1 3, shot 1 for 8 from 3, and then from the field shot 6 for 17, which is overall pretty well, I feel like. So it was awesome how we shut down RJ Davis. Our defense just played so well. And then at the end, it was just Sean Padula. Such a big shot.
Yes.
It was a 2-point game. We had led the whole game. A moment where North Carolina easily could have taken it right there and squeaked away with a win. But Sean Padula just came up clutch. Then he made some 2 clutch free throws after that, and the Rebs were moving on. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think it was great. I really enjoyed seeing the performance there because you're playing a UNC team who is playing kind of, a different type of basketball because you hear the noise of them. Are they supposed to be in the tournament or are they not? And I think we did a great job of rising to that. I think it's a big emphasis in March on making 3-point shots, and we just got them to drop. But what I want to speak on is the emphasis of getting to the free throw line and getting easy foul calls. Like, we continuously got to the free throw line and just made looks off that. Like, our offense wasn't just 3-point shot, or trying to force anything. It was more so getting in the paint and doing the little things. And then the on-ball defensive pressure, basically taking Elliot Cadeau out the game, not even allowing him to be a factor, and then limiting RJ Davis as much as possible. He had the good second half he had. So I just think it was an all-around good game, strengths in every factor. So.
I'll say I have to agree with that because you mentioned down low, driving to the hoop. Malik Dia did a great job, but also Dre Davis got a lot of offensive boards, second shot opportunities, and that's what we haven't seen a lot from the
offensive rebounds.
He had 5 offensive
Finally,
rebounds. Getting those boards again, and that obviously, yes, we just noticed that. So that was a big key to helping us win that game.
Yeah, for sure. Offensive rebounds, balance, creating a team unit. It didn't stop there. We pretty much absolutely dominated in the Iowa State game. I would have to say there was never a time where I was nervous. Really, they started off slow, but they got their pace back up. Sean Padula yet again with 20 points, Malik with 18, Jamin Brakefield with 19, Matthew with 15. Our seniors are finally starting to look like seniors, and they're showing themselves that they can, beat these highly ranked teams, and they're not frauds, which, like Malik Dia said, we're not frauds. We are Ole Miss. We were 57.9% from 3 in the Iowa State game. I just finally saw, in their performances, I could tell that they were like, this is our last shot. And I think they're going to come back for the Michigan State game like that. They're a lot of them are seniors, and they know that this is their last time to really do this. And I saw it in their abilities to drive to the basket, get to the paint. And we kept with the defense too because we had 11 steals in that game. Cyclones only had 5. So, I mean, I just thought we looked way better than them.
Yeah, Sean Padula had 4 of those steals by himself. I love his intensity, his effort. But Tay just mentioned it. We had 3 guys go perfect from 3. He just said we got to shoot well. Malik Dia 2 for 2, Matthew Morrell 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, and Jamin Brakefield, of course, getting some good shots in. But I really love our energy, like you said, that we've seen that a lot from Padula a lot. But if other guys did step up, Dia was intense. And I really hope to see that in the next game against Michigan State, too.
100%. Energy is a big factor because, you have them at 40-29 in the first half, but then you actually shoot the basketball better in the second half than you did in the first half. You keep your intensity there, and you continue to shut this team out and continue to make them feel uncomfortable. I want to go back to the turnover thing because I think that's a big factor as well. Like being able to not turn the ball over when you have the ball, and then to be able to turn the other team over continuous times, I think speaks a lot to momentum.
Yeah.
Because in these stadiums where basically the crowd is rooting against us.
I mean, 2 away games, basically.
Yeah, being able to turn other teams over and kind of change the tide and shut the noise out, I think is a big factor here. And once again, shooting the basketball. How many times this year have we seen this team shoot good one game and then shoot good the next game? This game in March, when it matters most, we shot well versus North Carolina, and then we shot better the next round. So I think it's a lot of things to be happy about. And just team basketball, 5 players in double figures. So
I think it also has to do with Chris Beard. I think he is just such a great coach when it comes to crunch time. There were multiple times in the game where, there was one play where we couldn't get the ball in bounds. Okay, so he got a timeout in. He made 2 plays where we got an open layup the next 2 plays. How does one coach do that? I don't know. But Chris Beard is made for March Madness.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just look at the experience that he has at Texas Tech. His second year, just like this year at Ole Miss, he led them to the Elite Eight. And then in his third year, he led them all the way to the national championships. Unfortunately, they lost in overtime. But yeah, he's just a proven winner, and he's doing that at Ole Miss. And yeah, going back to that Iowa State game, I just loved the way that we responded. At the beginning of the game, I believe we were down 5-13. I was getting a little nervous there. That was a spot where Iowa State could have ran away with it. Like, they were the better team for much of the season. I know Ole Miss is playing better now, but it really came down to a big 3-pointer by Malik Dia, step back with 1 second on the shot clock. I feel like that really slowed this team down and gave them some confidence. After that, some other guys started to make a lot of threes. We shot well the rest of the game. So yeah, that was just a big-time shot by Malik Dia, especially when the other team, Iowa State, was killing us rebounding-wise, especially their big man. Yeah, Joshua Jefferson had 5 offensive rebounds, 8 rebounds overall. He was killing us with second chance points, so it was nice that we were able to shoot so well to kind of combat that, because they ended up out-rebounding us the whole game. We've talked about it all year. We just don't rebound very well, but we're finding ways to win in spite of that. So I loved how we played, how we continued to play well in the second half, got such a big lead where we kind of could back off a little bit, just play smart basketball, go through long possessions, kind of eat up that clock, and just close out a big win to get Ole Miss to the Sweet 16 for the second time in school history. Yeah. And then if we could win next week, it'd be the first time ever going to the Elite Eight.
Well, I hate to say this, but I, for some reason, have no doubts for Michigan State. I don't know why, but I think it's because we're just talked about their amazing performances offensively and defensively. I just watched Michigan State. I think they're a young team. We're an older team. We have veterans that are wanting this for themselves. They're wanting it for Oxford. I just think that we're going to bring it. I don't know why. I have a really, really good feeling about this.
I like that. I think that them playing some, quote, easier teams in the first 2 rounds is going to come back to bite them. They beat number 15 seed Bryant, number 10 seed New Mexico State. I know me and Walker were talking about this earlier. Not to get off topic, but in college football, all the first 4 teams with the byes all lost. It's maybe that easy, it's too easy, but we're playing our best basketball. But they might not have the best competition so far. I think we're going to be a rude awakening. We're going to shock them. And I think it's going to go our way.
I think a key for that is going to be Malik Dia driving in the paint, dominating, because Michigan State's defense, they're tough. They're competitive. They like to get scrappy. I think Malik Dia can beat each and every one of them.
I was going to say that as well. I have Jackson Kolar on here. Might be an issue for us against Malik Dia. They are the same size, so I feel like it's going to be Malik Dia's game to take over.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a matter of like who wants it more, because what's so interesting about this game is like Michigan State and Ole Miss match up almost identical.
Yeah.
Like they have one big man who comes off the bench, but other than that, they play a smaller lineup with smaller guards and they utilize everybody. So I think it's just a matter of who wants it more. And you got to utilize the guys on the bench because they go deep. They go about 7 or 8 in the rotation. So guys like Cloughy, guys like Barnes have to play good defense when the starters are out, and it's just a matter of strength in numbers. And I think this is going to be not an easy test, but a good test, because me and Walker were talking, and we were all talking about the path that we have. Right? Yeah. It's kind of set up to where first 2 games are hard, but if you win this third one, then it could really get serious. So I think we have a great shot against Michigan State, but I'd just say don't rely on a 3-point shot. Go inside and try to get fouled, because you don't know if you're going to be hitting. You don't know if you're going to be making shots or not. So that's my thing. Just get inside, get fouled.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially because Michigan State has the #1 ranked perimeter defense in all of college basketball. Yeah. So, and a lot of Michigan State fans were saying how they thought that really helped them because of how well we've been shooting threes recently. But that really hasn't been our game all year. It's just we find open shots, mainly because just how good of a coach Chris Beard is. He has such good plays that he finds open shots, but he will respond to that. He knows he has a great game plan. He knows if the threes are going to be heavily guarded, he will find great cuts to the basket for players like Dia, Dre Davis, Brakefield, some of those bigs that can play well, especially because Michigan State really isn't that big of a team. They are one of the best rebounding teams, which kind of shocked me because they really aren't that big, but I think they probably will out-rebound us because of that, but we are similar in size in a lot of areas. So I think we will be competitive in the rebounding aspect, especially because the March Madness game, players like Dre Davis, Malik Dia, Brakefield, those bigs are going to step up. So I think we'll play well there. I really do feel like we will find a way to squeak by, especially just because of players like Brakefield and Morrell, like players that have been in Ole Miss forever. They're playing for the name on the front of their jersey, not the name on the back. They're playing for Ole Miss. They've been waiting to make the NCAA tournament their whole careers, both of their first times. I think they're stepping up, especially like Morrell. We know he hasn't had the greatest season. He's been injury prone a lot of the year, been battling injuries, but last game he shot 3 for 3 from 3. Played really well, scored 15 points. So I'm thinking players like that are going to continue to step up, and I think we'll have a great game.
Yeah. For sure. Let's make it sweet on Friday in Atlanta against Michigan State at 6 o'clock. Make sure to tune in. When we get back, we're going to be talking about the women's team. They'll be playing on Friday as well. We'll be back.
Where are we gonna go?
Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called
Oxford, Mississippi.
To see it is to believe it. You hear about it, but you just have to see the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grove. The sound and fury are here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Did he got a toe down?
Pageantry, the pride, the pomp is unmatched and unrivaled.
This stadium has come unhinged.
This is what college football is all about.
Oh, as he gets walloped.
No coach is having more fun than Lane Kiffin.
This is the place to be in college football right now.
Welcome back. Like we said, not only are the men's heading to the Sweet 16, the women's are too. They will be playing UCLA. Let's first talk about their first game against Ball State. Seemed like a pretty easy win for them, 83-65. Star Jacobs and Kennedy Todd Williams both had double-doubles. Star Jacobs leading it with 18 points, 11 rebounds. Queen of double-doubles, may I say. She is just awesome. Of course, Madison Scott also led with 15 points. They looked amazing in that game, I'd have to say. It was nice to see that they were really good at driving into the basket. Their three-point percentage was not at all. But they had less turnovers than Ball State, and I think that was the key of the game for them. I think it was an easy win for them, obviously, and then Baylor, which I really want to talk about, nail biter, 69-63. Both teams struggled from the field, may I say, but again, turnovers. Ole Miss had 13, Baylor had 21 turnovers. You can't do that and win a game. Yes, it was close, but Ole Miss took the win at Baylor. How are y'all feeling about that game?
I feel good about it. I mean, going to Waco and credit to Baylor because they played a very scrappy game. Like, people getting held back, fights about to happen. Like, it really, it got serious. So I think it's an amazing game. You do the little things, and like you said, the biggest margin, the biggest thing is those turnovers. Like, being able to turn a team over 21 times is wild, especially with the stakes being so high, and then doing it at their home arena because, you know, in women's basketball, that second round matchup, that home court advantage plays such a factor. So I think it's amazing, and I think that's the best kind of test and kind of film that you want to have going into a game as big as UCLA.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, UCLA, that is a big, big, big test. I think that if they are able to get past UCLA, they can make it all the way. Hot take. But
Not crazy.
I think UCLA is going to be their biggest test of the whole tournament.
Yeah, I agree with that. Lauren Betts down low, she's 6'7". She's just unstoppable down there. She's a maniac, and she's averaging 19 points a game, and it's just like that doesn't happen too often. So I think that's gonna be the biggest test, and I agree with you 100%. If we can somehow manage to squeak by these guys, there's not gonna be another team that's of that caliber that we're gonna face until the Final Four, or even the championship.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think a player that we need to rely on is Madison Scott. She's such a veteran for this team. She's such a leader. I think that if she leads the team with points, then others are going to follow her, like Star Jacobs, like Kennedy Todd Williams. I think that they really feed off her and her energy.
Yeah, I think you get creative here. Like, the biggest advantage that we have going into this game is that we play SEC basketball. UCLA, they don't play the same caliber as basketball. They play very phenomenal basketball. Don't get me wrong. They only have 2 losses on the season. Like, let's not discredit that. But they don't play in the hardest conference. Go back to the drawing board. Look at what you did good against USC. Look at what you did good against teams like Texas and these contenders that we played. And you kind of just got to formulate a plan around that. What's her name? I'm sorry. The 7-footer that UCLA
Oh, yeah,
has?
Lauren Betts. Yeah.
Lauren Betts. You know she's going to be a factor. She's going to eat regardless, but it's like you could really get creative and find other ways to win. But it's going to be a tall task. Like I said, they have 2 losses, but utilize the practice, so to say, of your tough schedule in conference to kind of propel you to this victory. And I'm with you guys in the sense of if you do beat this UCLA team, yeah, you can go make a run for sure, like 100%. So.
Yeah, I agree 100% because UCLA is such a good team, I think we will have to play a really great performance, one of our best performances of the year. But if we do that, we definitely can beat UCLA. And then after that, we'll honestly be playing teams just as good as UCLA or worse. So it'll take a lot of good performances in a row to win the whole thing. But I definitely think it's possible. And what gives me that type of confidence is just kind of how we closed out that one against Baylor. It was a really close game, but we just found a way to win at the end. And just because of good players on our team that are playing well right now, for example, KK Deans and Kennedy Scott Williams or Todd Williams and Madison Scott, players like that, they're continuing to play well. So if we just get a good stretch together playing well, the sky's the limit for this team. They could 100% go all the way.
For sure. They're playing on Friday against UCLA again. When we come back, not only are the men and women's basketball team winning, so is baseball. We'll be talking about their weekend recap and the game against Memphis. We will be back.
The dynamic freshman is starting to make his impact.
Dagger with the shot clock down to 1.
That 3-ball drops for Jamin Brakefield. Fagan from the corner with a triple.
Burrell for 3, and that's a big response. 3-ball, yes. Miss shooting lights out of the pavilion.
Ed, give him one more.
Wow. Alley-oop. No, you can't teach that. Well, that should give Ole Miss a boost.
NewsWatch is a student-run newscast that goes live every week, Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock.
NewsWatch is more than just a college team. It is an immersive learning experience. You learn certain skills that help you in your future journalism career.
Rebelwatch is just a cool experience because I want to do something in the sports world. So just to get the chance to do that on a platform like this, it's just a great opportunity.
We are the only live station in the Oxford-Lafayette area, with Tupelo being the closest. We cover all local news.
Welcome back. We're now going to be talking about Ole Miss baseball. If you were watching last week, Walker and I said it was a must-win series, if not a sweep. We were right. It was. We sweeped in Missouri. It was a great game. It was great games. It showed me that Ole Miss is good. That's all I've got to say. Walker, what do you have to say about the series?
Yeah, I thought it was a big series. Like we said last week, I said it was a must-win series. I said I thought we would sweep, and luckily we did. We played very well, especially offensively, scoring a ton of runs. Won the first game 9-6, second game 17-10, and in the third game 14-6. So yes, a lot of runs scored. It was awesome to see, a lot of home runs. The only thing that worried me a little bit this weekend was our pitching. It was not the best pitching performances, but that also could just be trying out some other pitchers just because we did have so many big leads in the series. But one player I do want to talk about is Isaac Humphrey. Yep. He had a great series, won player of the week in college baseball, batted 6 for 15, had 4 home runs and 13 RBIs all in 1 week. And so a great performance to him. Hope that kind of gets him a little warmed up, continues to play well because we will definitely need him this season. But yeah, I really think this is a great Ole Miss baseball team. Have a good opportunity this weekend starting today, Thursday, at home against Florida. Florida is a team going into the year that we thought was going to be a really good team, but they are 0-6 in SEC play, got swept the first 2 series. So before the season, I would have just said we really just need to win a game, but now I feel like this is another must-win series. I don't know if we need to sweep them, but it'd be really big if we get another series win this weekend.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, Sawyer.
I would say I owe you an apology. I thought we weren't going to take the series. I thought we'd maybe win one if we're lucky.
So does Tay.
Yeah. But you called it. We were going to win 3. I was like, I don't know about that. But hey, props to you, man. You didn't know it. But like you said, 10 bombs in the series. Bats did come alive. Isaac Humphreys had 4 home runs in 3 games. Electric. But we did play Memphis the other day, and I want to point out one player is Braden Randall. He did go 2 for 4. He had 3 RBIs, but defensively, he had 3 diving stops. He was a brick wall back there, and I really give credit to him because he's looking good so far. Yeah.
For sure. And about the Memphis game, it's always great to see Campbell Smithwick with a home run. Good to see an Oxford local cheering on the crowd with a home run. I also think Memphis Tigers is also a really great game to win against. Midweek matchup, get some confidence before Florida. Just, Memphis is a good team, I would say. Yeah. So it was great for them.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, sweeping a SEC team, after losing to Southern Miss, that's good for the rankings. I think it keeps us in that, 10 to 15 range. So I'm a big fan of it. I only wanted 1, but we got 3, so I'm happy about it. I love high-scoring baseball games. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Florida series is starting today. When we come back, we're going to switch back to March Madness Men's Edition. We'll be back.
Going to be a hot one out there for move-in weekend, Ole Miss. Good luck this year, Red.
You did it. You're home. I can't wait for you to discover the true meaning of hotty toddy. It's a cheer that connects us all to the red and blue. It's the moment that begins when you step on campus and continues long after you turn your tassel. I can't wait for you to discover your legacy and make the world a better place. Are you ready?
Welcome back. Like I said, we're going to switch back to March Madness, best time of the year. We had some upsets. We had some surprises. Obviously, everyone's thinking what I'm thinking. Clemson and McNeese was definitely the one I wasn't looking forward to. Another one is Arkansas and St. John's.
Yeah.
Tay was saying how nobody's going to beat St. John's.
Yep.
But Arkansas.
Yeah, they did. If the best shooter goes 1 for 17, a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen. SEC has the most teams in a conference in the Sweet 16, 7, I believe.
Yep.
7 teams. SEC wins always. I'm really excited for that. Obviously, our teams, Florida and Duke, are still in. Tay and I were talking about before the show, Duke is just still looking like they're going to win. They're unstoppable. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. I still have Duke going far. They have a really, they kind of have a tough but good path. I think Arizona is a really good test. They got guys like Carter Bryant, Caleb Love. So I think they're going to continue to cruise. I think we haven't even seen Duke play with with behind their backs or however you want to say it. They haven't had to play like, oh, we got to win. Like, it hasn't been a moment like that.
Back
so
against the wall.
back against the wall. That's the word I'm looking
Gotcha.
for. So, yeah, I think Duke cruises. And then, if they beat Arizona, you got a BYU team or a fraudulent Bama team. So I think Duke has a good path to the Final Four.
I like that fraudulent Bama team.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark Sears is good. I don't think they're that good. I'm looking at Florida. Maryland is going to be a great game.
For sure.
Both those teams are electric. Both those teams are fast playing teams too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look for Florida to beat Maryland, and then I think they're still looking good.
They are still looking good. A game I'm really excited for is Tennessee, Kentucky.
For sure.
I think, obviously we beat Kentucky with ease, during the regular season, but I think they're going to come back at it. I mean, classic March Madness team for them. And, going back to Ole Miss, Michigan State, I know we just talked so much about it. I'm so excited for the Tom Izzo and Chris Beard matchup, for sure. I think everyone's excited for it, too. I think, obviously we're a little biased. I think it's going to be one of the biggest games in Sweet 16.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
and especially because this is not the first time that Chris Beard and Tom Izzo have met in the NCAA tournament. In 2019, Chris Beard actually beat Tom Izzo in the Final Four and then lost in the national championship. So yeah, Chris Beard has a good track record against Tom Izzo. And then just going back to that Kentucky-Tennessee game, I think that is the best game out of all the Sweet 16 games. 2-3 matchup should be very close, especially since just an SEC rivalry matchup. They played during the regular season. Kentucky did beat them twice, so they usually say it's tough to beat a team 3 times, but I think it'll be a close game. And all I'm going to say is, whoever loses this game, their fan base is going to be in absolute shambles, because to lose your rivalry in the Sweet 16, it's going to be rough. And then last thing I want to say is just talking about both of the teams that we picked to win it all in Florida and Duke. I think both teams are on upset watch in the Sweet 16. I'm just saying it's possible because we didn't really get a lot of upsets in the first 2 rounds, especially like most years we usually get a ton, but I think it's just because there's so many good teams at the top because of NIL nowadays. There's so many more opportunities to play at the highest level. So I think there's going to be a lot of great matchups. There definitely will be some upsets, but yeah, just Maryland, Derek Queen's such a good player. He had that game winner against Colorado State. I think he could give Florida some problems, especially when a lot of Florida's best players are their guards, Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, Will Richard. And then the Duke-Arizona game, it's just Arizona having Caleb Love gives me to think that they have a chance against Duke because
that post-game interview.
Yeah, you see that little smirk he had?
Look in his eye.
He knows. He has a great history against Duke also. The last time Duke really had a team that was this good was in 2022. Coach K's last year, they had Paolo Banchero, a very good team. And then Coach K lost his last ever college basketball game to North Carolina. Caleb Love hit that dagger in the Final Four. So yeah, I think both of those could be great games.
Yeah.
I think so too. And going back, to Ole Miss, Michigan State, when Michigan State beat New Mexico State, the interviewer asked Tom Izzo, how you feel about going against Coach Beard? He said, I didn't even know we were playing Ole Miss. He looked terrified.
Oh, he's terrified.
He's terrified, and I love it. And I think Chris Beard is not. Yeah. I think he is like, we're just going to go at it. And I think it's going to be a game where there's just going to be toughness, competitiveness, and again, Tay, like you said, who wants it more?
Yep.
I was just going to say, we have nothing to lose. We're the second lowest ranked team, like Arkansas's a 10, we're a 6. They said Ole Miss is overrated, we're frauds, we're this. Just go out there. We've shown them what we can do twice in a row. Play with that chip on your shoulder and just have at it. Just go have fun and go bring that energy.
Yeah, it's not like this is like a David and Goliath matchup. Like, we match up with them. Like,
we do, yeah. It's going to be a great game, great coaching matchup, a Sweet 16. Both teams are going to want it badly. I think it's going to be a great game. Our first 2 games were kind of blowouts. I mean, I would love if that happened again, but I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be a great game, and hopefully the Rebs can just squeeze out on top at the end.
For sure. We're so excited about this weekend. We are going to be cheering on the Rebs. That is unfortunately all we have for again today. Again, I'm your host, Campbell Holmes. Alongside me, Sawyer Ravino, TAYE Coleman, Walker Farmer. Thank you so much. Hopefully next week we'll be talking about the Elite 8, but that will be for next week. Good night, everybody.